Hello, good afternoon and welcome to The Pulse. We are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 125 and on our social media platforms as Joy News on TV. Now, coming up, Electoral Commission's Greater Accra Regional Headquarters declared a crime scene after heavily built men stormed the venue to ransack it, breaking glasses and shattering windows shortly before the resumption of collation for the Ablekuma North constituency this morning.
She ran to the house, but in fact, the come out as I say, win in any win, we are banning win.
Well, we'll delve into these issues, plus speak to the parties. Also, heads of senior high schools begin procuring food items following government approval, aiming to avoid the impact of potential food crisis in the schools.
The other option that is being considered urgently is to give the schools the opportunity to be able to start procurement.
And we'll take you live to some of the schools, plus gauge the impact from school authorities. Also, agribusiness analysts want ministers designate for agric and trade to set up an agribusiness development authority to make business operations in the country less stressful.
Are we able to give the sector agribusiness development and regulatory authority? When we go in there, we are able to secure our license and permit for export.
These and many more stories coming up here on The Pulse this afternoon. Joy News is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Thank you so much for choosing us. Well, grateful for your time here on The Pulse. Let's begin from the political front, because thugs suspected to have come from the Ablekuma North constituency have ransacked the collation center at the Electoral Commission's Greater Accra Regional Headquarters. They broke glass panels and shattered windows during the attack this morning. Now, the incident occurred shortly before the resumption of collation for the Ablekuma North constituency, which has been marred by dispute since the conclusion of the election over a month ago. Now, the venue has now been declared a crime scene and all visitors have been asked to leave due to security concerns. So my colleague James Aveji has just returned from the collation center and he joins me in studio. James, tell us how this incident actually unfolded this morning.
Well, Carlos, so this should be before 8 a.m. Because the original schedule of the Electoral Commission to have this process today was 8 a.m. in the morning. And so before we got there, I must say that a few colleagues were there before it happened. But,
I mean, from other media houses.
Exactly. But because of the intensity of what happened, none of them have been able to capture this on record, apart from some members of the group that perpetrated this who've been able to capture some of this. The journalists who were present have not been able to capture any of this on record because of the intensity and the fear of their life. They all had to flee, including the police who were present on the scene. So what I was told by my colleagues who were there earlier and those who witnessed this was that just as when they were settling in that in the morning,
that's the Electoral Commission officials.
Electoral Commission's office in the Greater Accra region, just when they were settling in, expecting the EC officials to come in to begin the process, these supporters who were dressed in mufti, today they didn't come in party colors, and so it was very difficult to identify
which political party they actually represent.
Exactly, and so they came in and then they began what we describe as, causing chaos and destroying properties at the place. Glasses were shattered. They went from the entrance. You know, there's a whole building. Part of it has the conference room, which they use for IPAC meetings.
Okay.
And then another room, which is used for the coalition. So they started from the entrance of the room, shattered all the louver blades in the window, climbed up to the first floor, broke one door open, broke the glass at the top of the door, and then they went to the collation room proper, where they broke every single glass in the frame, in the window.
No security on the ground at the time of the...
The police, I'm told, who were there at the time had to also flee the scene, because at that point, the number was more than the police who were there to maintain security. And so, in fact, one of my colleagues, jokingly asked one of the officers, why did they have to run? And he gave a small giggle and said, Master, we were told
to run for...
withdraw.
Okay.
That's the term he used. That's why we had to withdraw. This is exactly what transpired when they went on rampage, as I've captured in our report earlier.
You see from my left here, from this window here, has been shattered by the party supporters, including doors and other glasses. This is the entrance to the collation room. And as you can see, those in front of me are taking their time to make their way there, because all of the windows leading to the collation room, the louver blades, have been shattered this morning by the party supporters who have invaded the place even before the Electoral Commission officials make their way to the collation room. And so this is what happened just this morning. You would have to really be careful to make your way into the collation room, because a mess has been created here by the party supporters. The louver frames in all of the windows leading to the collation center have been broken this morning by the political party supporters. And so, as we speak, EC officials are yet to make their way to the collation center to even set up for the collation. The original time given for the process was exactly 8 a.m. At 2 hours after that, we are yet to see EC officials. In fact, when the thugs invaded the place, even before we arrived here at the scene, police officers were stationed around just as they have always been in the previous coalitions. What I'm told, in fact, is that the police had to withdraw from the scene, and this is what has been left behind by the party supporters. Glasses shattered everywhere. This is the room proper. You see the entrance or the door area of the room with glasses all over the place. You would need to be really careful to make your way in here, so as you do not get yourself injured by the broken glasses. And so, this is what the room looks like now, 2 hours after the official time, collation time set by the Electoral Commission. The party supporters are actually massing up, more and more of them are massing up at the entrance of the Electoral Commission office. They are massing up on the road leading to the office. This is the entrance. I'm sure more of the supporters, when we're making our way here, were at the entrance, pressing their demands, driving home their demands, but a lot of them have been pushed away. You see a number of them to my left there, standing by the roadside, waiting for the process to begin. To my right, you see a number of them there, all the way to the main road. I'm sure the police have been successful in driving them away from here, from what we saw earlier, with hundreds of them, even in the premises of the EC. Some women sitting there. And so this is how the main entrance of the EC looks like now as we speak. I'll try and see if I can get some reactions from some of the party supporters here to know what exactly their demands are. Quite a number of them here. I'm interested. Where are the other supporters we saw earlier at the EC premises?
Yabaha na ekwefiye or taking serious. And I'm saying,
was she here herself?
No, she's here. She ran to the house, but in fact, the Kamawata says, win, Nti so pewin bi a onko Jupiter. Ana proto. Ba Ablekuma North say opewin bi wo ho.
But you know the final decision lies with the Electoral Commission. Why don't you give them the time to sort out the rest of the 3 polling stations and do the declaration?
Since you to about December 7th up to now, you won't be na akwanaba de bia you wait me yo.
So you are supporters of which of the parties?
NDC.
NDC.
Yes,
I see. I mean, who is responsible for the distraction we saw there? Is it your party members?
We can't tell. We can't tell whoever. But then we are telling the EC, it's been long overdue. From 7th December.
Why?
A month and some weeks.
Why?
It's been long overdue. You see, the tension started from the billboard issue. I hope you remember the billboard issue with Irabna and then a free. Anywhere Irabna mounts her billboard, that is where this woman will also go and mount her billboard. Meanwhile, she's claiming she's been an MP before. So what happened?
I was told by someone that the distraction was caused by your party members. Is it true?
Unless, we will leave the police to investigate that. You get it? The police should investigate.
But is it something you support to put pressure on the EC to declare?
This is what happens. I think EC is ready for this. That is why they've been.
So you support the distraction?
Whether I support or not, this is what EC wants. And then this is what they are getting. Because work has already started. MPs are working. What happens to Ablekuma North? Who is representing us? There are people there. We voted. We all voted. And then we voted for Rabna Obin. We are paying taxes. So why is EC supporting a particular candidate? Why is EC supporting the NPP candidate? Why? For what reason?
You feel they are supporting the NPP?
We don't feel. We know. We know. We have evidence. We have evidence. You see, the funny thing is, we know a KFES people, and then they have congratulated us. They have congratulated us from 10th December. They've congratulated. They know that we've won the election.
But is your PC around?
Yes.
No, we don't have a PC. We have an MP. Irabna Obin, Honorable Irabna Obin.
She's around? Okay. All right.
I can't really tell.
Okay. And so some of the NDC supporters here waiting for the EC to come, continue the process and do the declaration of the final result. From their part of the story, as far as they are concerned, Irabna is winner. But we'll see how that proceeds in the course of the day as the EC would arrive to take charge of the final process. And so that has been the situation this morning at the EC's Regional Coalition Center here in Accra. We'll be following closely and be bringing you all of the updates on Joy News in the course of the day.
Well, James, this is quite disturbing. Have you been able to hear anything from the EC with regards to this incident so far?
Well, till now, the EC hasn't given out any official statement on the issue. In fact, none of the deputy commissioners who have been manning this from the start of the process have been able to visit the place this morning till we left there about 12:30 p.m. after midday. None of the EC officials. Usually, it used to be Dr. Sribo, Mr. Banobio, and his deputy, Alfred Tete of the, also with the team. All of them used to come and man the process.
But probably they might have left before we got there, right?
No, they from my checks, after I got there, they didn't come to the place in the course of today at all.
Okay.
Even the regional director, who also used to be part of the team together with the constituency returning officer, none of them made their way to the place this morning before all of this happened and even after that. And so we the media had to check from them. It's almost midday, and so what's the way forward? Then we had a private communication that due to the security situation at the place, and that was after the police had to barricade the whole place off and declare it as a crime scene. And so no one should get access to it. They said because of the security situation, they have advised us to leave the place for further communication. That's how come the process had been terminated in the course of the day.
Okay.
And so none of them have been.
So we are unable to tell the next line of action now because the EC has not spoken to us.
Exactly.
But do we know if the security officials are still on the ground as we speak?
Yes. Before we left there, you saw a police water cannon in the shot where a police officer was standing on top of it. They are still there with a few military officers. They are still stationed there. I learned sometime that particular place now have about 24-hour security protection. The police barricades are still there since day one. And so it's unclear how long they will be staying there, but before we left, they are still there. The last conversation happened with the NDC's Director of Elections for that particular constituency, Daniel Tonyegan, who told me that they've had an invitation from the police to come and have a meeting with the police. And so they had to withdraw their party supporters, put them in a bus, and compel them to go back to their various homes in the constituency before they, the party agent who oversee the process, together with him, the Director of Elections at the constituency level, left and told me they were going to the police headquarters to have that meeting. What I do not know is whether that meeting would include the NPP party agent as well.
Okay.
We are still checking on how that meeting has concluded and also get an official response from the Electoral Commission on the way forward.
All right. Thank you so much. I believe you're going to be keeping your eyes on the Ablekuma North constituency. Thank you so much, James. So James is my colleague here in the journey's room. Now, let's bring in the NPP and the NDC. Dr. Rashid Tanko, Deputy Director of Elections for the NDC, joins me, and his NPP counterpart, also Evans Nemako, is on phone. Let me start with you, Dr. Rashid Tanko. Tell us if this incident has come to your attention so far.
We say good afternoon to your cherished viewers. And clearly, yes, it came to our attention. Albert, we've already warned the Electoral Commission that whatever they are doing was completely illegal, and they should desist from continuing that kind of illegal process, because they are aware of the court processes that we filed against that kind of action they were taking. We have filed a stay of execution. They are aware of it. The last time we visited court, they were there. Their lawyers were there to represent them. So on what basis are they continuing these lawless activities? It appears they are just out to derail the gains that we have chalked through this our electoral process. That is what we have seen. And they must be called to order.
All right, so your party is behind this morning's vandalism at the Electoral Commission office. Is that what you say?
Carlos, when you say our party is involved in this vandalism, as if the NDC is a lawless organization, I am saying that the cause mess is the Electoral Commission. They are becoming a lawless institution. Because if they hadn't gone to misbehave this way, I don't think the youth would have gone there to stop them from that lawless action they were going to do. They did that and declared illegal people into parliament. And you think because we have folded our arms, they did that on our blind side, they want to continue that path, to continue declaring illegal people and mass them up into parliament. That kind of attitude we are not going to accept it.
What makes the actions of the Electoral Commission illegal, even though we know this issue is in court? Why do you think what they tried to do this morning was illegal?
We filed a stay of execution and an appeal. They are aware of it. They are noticed. They received the service. Their lawyers came and represented them the last time. What is the meaning of when you file a stay of execution? That means you should stay the action that the High Court asks you to embark on. Why are they doing that? Why is the media not condemning the lawless Electoral Commission? They have just taken the laws into their own hands and misbehaving, getting away with it.
All right,
why are they doing that?
But
as they are doing it, we are litigating the matter in court, and yet on the backside of us, they are declaring people illegally, trying to sidestep the legal process we have embarked on.
So you could have gone to courts to tell the courts that the Electoral Commission is not adhering to its orders.
By so doing, they would have declared those illegal people and gazetted them, like what they did to the 3 constituencies. You know, they did that for Tema Central, Okaikwe Central, and then Techima South. And those guys are sitting in parliament They are illegal guys, and we are coming after them using the legal process because we are not going to allow this. These things they did, the court even look at the process. The court asked that they should go and look at 62 areas. We put state execution on it. These people went and manufactured pink sheet and concoct figures on it. Got their own returning officers, appointed them in the morning of those things, and used them to declare themselves winners. What is that? Should we continue that path?
So are you?
And I think the media must come after this electoral commission and condemn them with this thing, with all the forces behind the condemnation with them. Because look at what they are doing. They are trying to derail the democratic gains of Ghana. And we must stop them from this kind of behavior they are embarking on.
All right, hold on for me. Let me switch to Evans Nemako of the NPP. I believe these happenings have come to your attention. What do you make of it?
And let me say Happy New Year to you and your production team. I think for us as New Patriotic Party, this posture of the NDC and their assign should be condemned by all stakeholders. My brother-in-law sits there and is talking. Isn't it the same DC that declared Dominic Kwabena for them when we were not part of the whole collation exercise? When on the 4th of this month, the High Court ordered the EC to conduct collation for these constituencies and also directed the police to provide adequate security to bring finality to collation in these constituencies. Today, they can speak this way, but it is so unfortunate. This morning, I had gotten to the EC Regional Collation Center and saw what was happening. So I drove up. I drove up with our parliamentary candidate, KFA, and the team that had been invited by the EC to go through this exercise. What was it? The court has directed, and as you said, if you disagree, why don't you go to court? But I heard and I saw on TV3 interview granted by the constituency organizer of NDC saying that the confusion that happened at the EC Collation Center was between NPP and the NDC. New Patriotic Party was not part of the so-called confusion of the distractions they caused to properties of the Electoral Commission. My brother, you must get it straight. The NDC is aware that in Ablekuma North constituency, FPA won and has numbers. When you look at figures from all the 281 polling stations, it is clear that it is the NPP-sponsored candidate, the KFA, who won, and not the NDC candidate. But this kind of attitude is not the way to go. We were invited by the police this afternoon for a conversation. We couldn't have the EC around, so the police postponed the conversation. Thankfully, the NDC candidate was there, the MPP candidate, the KFA, was also there. And the police said they will invite us again for a conversation. But what happened this morning at the EC Regional Collation Center is so unfortunate. And my brother, the New Patriotic Party didn't have difficulty saying that the NDC had gotten enough votes to constitute government. And therefore, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia congratulated the president. And that brought finality and intention in Ablekuma North constituency. The NDC must accept that they've lost the seat. It is not there. And so I'm surprised that Dr. Tanko will sit there and be speaking this way in a manner warning the EC and warning almost everybody. Your reporter is telling you what happened, and it's unfortunate that he's not able to tell you that these are NDC supporters who vandalized the EC property and, of course, state property. Is that the way to go?
All right, Mr. Nimako, let me come in here. You are a party to this whole happening. And what are you going to do? I mean, have you reported this issue to the police in the first place?
Yes, I mentioned to you that we were invited by the police. And so we've informed the police what happened, what we saw, and we're expecting the EC also to come out. I mean, I think that all stakeholders, but I'm happy that your media colleagues were all in there at the collation room and saw the attack. I think at this point, they are the best people to tell you what exactly happened. And I think that if NPP people were in there, the story would have been different. And I'm happy that we were not there. So let the security conduct their operations in a manner that is in line with the law. And let's move on. I think that we've come a long way. We went through an election that has been praised by all international community. It went through war. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had shown leadership. The New Patriotic Party congratulated the president. And yes, they've won. But when it comes to Ablekuma North constituency, they can't contest it because a PFA is a parliamentary member of parliament elect and will soon be declared and sworn to serve in the 9th parliament.
All right, so going forward, what would be the position of the NPP? Because it appears that anytime the Electoral Commission attempts to do collation, there's some sort of disruption. Going forward, what is your expectation?
Where that's coming from? Who are those who are perpetuating it? That's why I said that the security must be up and doing. New Patriotic Party, we know from all the 281 polling station results that our candidate, HFPA, stands the winner. And so we will comply with the law. We will go through it. We expect that the EC and the police will comply with the directives from the court and make sure we bring finality to this whole Ablekuma North issue. But to our colleagues NDC, enough of this vandalism. That is not the way to go.
Thank you so much. Evans Nimako is the Director of Election for the NPP. I don't know if I still have Haruna Tanko on to briefly react to what he just said.
Very well, Carlos. In my initial comment, I told you the EC is having collaborators from the NPP, and they are doing this illegality because you just heard him saying that they are the winners. You just heard him. It means they've already prepared it, haven't cooked figures, manufactured their own pink sheets, and describe it as scanned copies. Heap it on the EC. They want to use the same process to declare themselves well. It won't come. We will not accept it. We are not going to allow these things, and that is why we are using the legal process to stop them. And they must respect it. The EC must respect the legal process. That's why we are telling them they must respect it. We are litigating the process with them in court, and they must come clean with it. Whatever they are doing, they must stay put on it. Why are they in the haste to circumvent the process? That is our problem with them. And we think that they must respect the legal process and not do anything untoward to declare an illegal person as the winner of Ablekuma North. We are not going to accept it. I can assure you. And we are telling them that we will use every means possible, legally, and I repeat, legally, to stop this illegality of these Electoral Commission activities.
All right, so many have been condemning the act of vandalism with regards to this particular constituency collation. Going forward, how do we resolve the issue without using this violent means?
Carlos, the only way is for us to respect the court procedure. We have filed a stay of execution of this action. They are on notice, they receive it. They should respect it.
All right.
Let us all follow through the legal process. We have a case with them at the Supreme Court on 23rd of this month. Let's go there and battle it out.
So your position is that until the court processes come to an end, there should be no collation at the Ablekuma North constituency. Is that the position of the NDC?
That is our position. That is our position. They don't have any business in going to any collation process when this legal process is going on. They must stay put. They should respect the process. Let us go through the process and come back. If the process they are successful and we are good to go with the ruling of the High Court and that of Supreme Court, then we can now take it on from there. But while we are in this process, they are hurriedly trying to collate the results and declare an illegal person as a winner. We are not going to accept it.
Thank you so much for speaking to us here on the Pulse. Dr. Rashid Tanko is the Deputy Director of Elections for the NDC. Now let's shift our attention to education, because a government has authorized heads of senior high schools to begin purchasing food items to avert shortages in senior high schools across the country. Now, on Thursday, the government started the distribution of nearly 140,000 bags of rice to selected senior high schools last night, and also reached an agreement with head teacher grouping, CHARS, of course, to start procurement of 16 other food items currently unavailable for distribution as the government works to release funds to support these efforts. Dr. Clement Park is a member of the Transition Team's Education Subcommittee and MP for Volta South. He disclosed to Joy News some steps that they will be taking. We can take a listen to him.
I know the other option that is being considered urgently is to give the schools the opportunity to be able to start procurement, even as they wait for the resources to come. So I believe very strongly that if we were to consider both arrangements, the issue can be addressed even as we wait for the funds to get to the schools. But the money that is going to go to the heads of the schools to procure. The food is not going to be procured by a centralized agency and then distributed. The dynamics have changed. So the decision is that the funding will go to the heads of the schools through the Ministry of Education for them to procure their own food items.
Okay, so this is to the money that they will get, but even before the money goes, they are allowed to start with procurement and get some of the food items until the money gets to them.
Yes, that is a reasonable arrangement.
Now, let's go on the phone lines and touch base with our correspondent across the country for some update on the food crisis. Let's now speak with my correspondent from the Ashanti region. If you are on the line, can you hear me, Eric Asante?
Hello, so I'm in the Central region.
Central region, forgive me. So tell us what the situation is like in that region with regards to this food issue.
So, Carlos, I've been doing my checks in some schools in the KEA municipality. In one of the schools that I visited this morning, the students were having breakfast and preparations for lunch were already underway by the kitchen staff before I departed, which obviously suggests that the school has some food supplies. It is unclear how long they would last. A reliable source from one of the senior high schools, also in the KEA municipality, disclosed to me that during their food committee meeting held yesterday, the head mistress hinted that going forward, there will be resources to produce or to procure some essential food which were listed. So mean that they were not going to rely solely on the central buffer stock for their food supply. So I can confirm that food supply in the KEA municipality is at its best. And what I can't confirm is how long these essential food items will take.
All right.
But we are also yet to receive a batch of the supplies from the national buffer stock.
So do we know if indeed these schools you're talking about actually received these items as part of the fresh announcement by the government? I mean, the food, the 140,000 bags of rice that the government said they are distributing across the schools.
So, Carlos, like I indicated early on, in the KEA municipality, the 3 senior high schools that I visited, they are yet to receive their portion of the over 120 that you mentioned.
Okay. Thank you so much. We believe that you're going to be keeping your eyes on the situation for us. Let's now head to Kumasi and speak to my colleague Clinton who has also been visiting some schools. What can you report, Clinton? Can you report regards to the food crisis in senior high schools in the Kumasi municipality? Well, we are focusing on the food crisis across schools, and we have been told actually that government has authorized some distribution of nearly 140,000 bags of rice to some selected schools. And we also know that government is set to release funds for procurement of some 16 other food items that are currently not in some schools. But let me try and reconnect with my colleague, Clinton. Clinton, what can you tell us about the situation in Kumasi?
Question correct.
Hello, Clinton. I'm asking what the situation.
Yes, I can hear you now.
What the situation is like in the Ashanti region. I believe you've gone to some schools in the region. What can you tell us about the food situation there?
Well, yes, I've been visiting schools in the Ashanti region, and the comments that came are diverse. Some are in the positives, others are in the negatives. I have also been speaking to students as well who are not willing to come, but what they say is that they have realized differences in the foods that they took for last term and this term. The difference is that in last term, or during the last term, they had specific meals for breakfast, lunch, and supper. However, this time they are having a balanced diet, but the amount is small. One that they can say can be compared to nothing. That has been the comments coming from students. However, the authorities have engaged in two schools, the Anglican Senior High School and the Kumasi Technical Institute. For Anglican Senior High School, the headmistress confirmed that the supplies that they are expecting have not been reached yet. They confirmed of not receiving the supplies yet. However, same story was also told in Kumasi Technical Institute, whom the headmaster expressed that although the supplies have not reached the school, they are however positive that it will come, considering the bureaucratic processes that have to come on. He also confirmed of a certain meeting that was done by heads of Ashanti regional schools, which gave a positive outlook for the foods that all schools in the Ashanti region should be expecting.
Able to tell us the level of impact this food shortage is actually having on academic activities in schools in the Ashanti region?
Well, whilst the schools confirmed that they have not received the food supplies, they also say that the amount that was left from last term are very small, which they are now banking their hopes on what they are expecting. Specifically in Kumasi Technical Institute, the headmaster confirmed that the amount left can only take them for 1 week. And so if the supplies are not in this week or early next week, that is a disaster in waiting for them.
Before I let you go, can you also tell us if the headmasters in these schools have actually been able to establish the specific times that this new 140,000 bags of rice will be arriving in the schools?
Well, majority of the headmasters have not yet confirmed the time that the foods would arrive. However, they are banking their hopes on the early arrivals, which would probably be next 2 weeks. And they also add that the supply should come this week or early next week, or it could be disastrous for the schools. But then they cannot confirm the exact times that the foods will be arriving.
Thank you so much for that update from the Ashanti region. Now let's head to the Upper East region to speak to my colleague, Albert Sorry. He's also been touring schools there. What can you report from the ground?
Carlos, so in the Upper East region, there are the schools in this region are divided into zones. There are 3 zones, and there is one school in each zone that serves as the center for distribution of the food items. So when the food items arrive, they are sent to Nabrongo Senior High School, which will distribute for the schools in that zone, which is the eastern zone. In the central zone, the food items will be brought to the Volgatanga Girls Senior High School, and then in the other zone, the food items are taken to the Zebila Senior High School. Now, I've checked at these 3 schools. I've checked with the heads of these schools, and what they have told me is that food items have not arrived, despite the fact that they have been communicated to that the distribution of the food will start today. What the headmaster of the Zebila Senior High School told me, he is also the regional chairman of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools in this region. What he has said is that he does not know of any school that has received any food items as at today. But even if the distribution starts today, it means it will take some time because it will be done at the national level, which is in Accra. And so it will take some time before the food is transported up north. And so as we speak, what they are using in all the schools is the stocks that they have, which he said, can only last for just about a week. So it means that if the food items don't arrive by this weekend, towards next week, if they don't have food arriving, it's going to affect, teaching and learning, and they may have to consider maybe probably letting the children go home or find other ways. It only means that they have just about a week to wait for these food items to arrive. But as we speak, they have some stocks, which he said they were managing to feed the students as we speak.
All right. Thank you so much for the update from the Upper East region. Now, let's go to the Bono East region to also check the situation there with my colleague, Anas Sabit. What can you report from the ground?
Carlos, a week ago, we hit the ground to check the food situation in the Bono East region. And yesterday, I was hinted by the chairman of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools, Mr. Douglas Solomon Nyaman, who disclosed to me that some 500 bags of rice have already been brought in on the 14th of this month. We were thinking it is part of what government announced that they will be bringing from Accra. Unfortunately, my checks in the schools today revealed that that was from a different supplier who was tasked to bring these foods earlier. But that is 500 bags of local rice that has already been distributed to some 12 schools within the Techiman area, which is one of the 3 food zones across the area. This is coming to complement the already existing rice they are having in stock and not solve the existing problem, which has to do with serving pupils with unbalanced diets, because they don't have beans in stock, they don't have maize in stock, they don't have flour, they don't have vegetable oil already, and none of this food staples I just mentioned are in the schools already, and so we should be thinking of taking plain rice in the afternoon and probably jollof rice in the evening. That is quite one way, and that is the situation the schools in the Bono East region are facing in relation to this particular problem. But the good news, however, is that the headmaster of the Techiman Senior High School has disclosed to me that they have received assurance that some amount of money is going to be brought to the schools so they take care of the perishables and other essential food commodities they are currently lacking. They have in stock gari, a lot of gari. They have in stock a lot of palm or red oil. But we know gari is usually served with beans. The absence of beans means the gari they have in stock is not useful as I speak to you now. So that is the major problem the schools in the Techiman area are facing. They are only feeding the students with rice, and this rice can only last for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, so, but you can confirm that the schools have not received this 140,000, but a part of it. They've not received any.
No, Carlos. The schools in this part of the country.
All right, thank you so much.
Exactly. Not even a single bag of those amount is in the region yet. So we are keeping our eyes on the ground to update our listeners or viewers on the situation as and when they arrive.
Thank you so much, my colleague Anna Sabit from the Bono East region, giving us those updates. Now let's head to the northern parts or the northern region to speak to my colleague, Bugri, to tell us the situation. Machida, what is the situation in the northern region?
So for the northern region, the schools I visited, they are telling me that they are yet to receive the food that has been dispatched from Accra, but they were hopeful that by close of day, they will receive theirs today. As to money to be released, communicated to them, they are yet to receive that communication. But what they are doing is already perishables. They give them money to buy the perishables. And so with that one, they are able to buy, hoping that at least by close of day, they would have had information on the next step to take, and then the food would arrive. I visited some few schools. They had taken breakfast. They had come out of the dining hall. I spoke to some of them. I mean, as usual, you hear the food is small, but it's okay. The food is small, but that was the common thing that I heard. But largely, those schools which I visited, one problem they had was they didn't have maize. Rice they had. But maize, that was because their maize was looted some few weeks ago by some residents of Tamale when they looted the buffer stock company. So they are hoping that by close of day, they would have received what is meant for them.
So it appears across the country that many schools are just relying on rice. Is that the situation also in the northern region?
And so for Ganasco, Tamasco, and Bisco, they were able to take their maize before the stock was stolen. And so these 3 schools, they have. But the rest of the 10 schools that take their stock from Tamale here, they do not have maize up to.
What can you tell us about impact of this situation on the academics? I mean, teaching and learning on the school, on the campuses you visited?
So the students say because they have just come in, most of them came in with something little that is complementing what they are receiving now. But if they go over some few weeks from today, they will have challenges.
All right, thank you so much.
What it means is that they are able to at least have something to eat, and this is not affecting their studies yet.
Thank you so much, Machina, for speaking to us here on the Pulse. We've been trying to reach Charles as well as other stakeholders to also, get the understanding of the situation from their perspective, but we've not been so successful. You're still watching the Pulse here. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Please stay. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, is in the process of vetting over 300 people aspiring for metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executive officers in the Ashanti region. The 3-day process is structured to cover all 43 local assemblies in the region. This morning, over 300 aspirants from over 11 MMDAs, including the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, lined up for the process. My colleague Nana Boachi Yadon was actually there and will join us shortly. But first, take a listen to an aspirant for Efija Seche East sharing his vision for that municipality.
The 7-member vetting committee is expected to vet 209 people who have put in their application for the position of a metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives in the northern region. Speaking to Joy News, the Northern Regional Organizer of the NDC, Baba J, said 209 people are seeking to be picked for these positions, adding that the 7-member vetting committee will start on the 18th and end on the 20th. 1st of January.
We have 16 districts, and the total number of applicants for these 16 districts sum up to 209 applicants. The highest is Samargo district with a total number of 24 applicants. Metro have 16, Tono also have 16.
And the least?
And the least is Tatale Sambole with 7 applicants. We will start on the this Saturday. Saturday will be on the 19th. We'll start on 19th through to 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
He said enough security arrangements have been put in place to ensure a smooth process.
We want to issue to all aspirants accreditation card, and we'll give each aspirant 2 additional accreditation. Said that when they are coming, we'll be able to screen and know those who are allowed in and those who are not allowed in. Like I said earlier on, the thing is going to be at RCC, the Northern Regional Coordinating Council. So we will make sure that those who get in are those that who are supposed to get in are those that will be allowed in. You know that the regional Coordinating Council is a security zone, and 24 hours we have our military men mounting the gate. So we intend to also use them a lot to ensure that the whole process starts very well and end very well.
That's actually the situation from the northern parts of the country. Let me now take you to the Ashanti region to speak with my colleague Nana Boakye-Yado. Nana, how has the process been so far in the Ashanti region?
Well, Carlos, in the Ashanti region, the process started yesterday, and it's been day 2 with over 300 aspirants seeking to be MMDCEs passing through the vetting process at the NDC regional office in the Ashanti region. I'm going to be specific. Yesterday, 88 of them went through the vetting. Today, we're expecting about 50 aspirants to also go through the vetting, and by close of today, that will be the figure that we would have on our hands, about 50 aspirants to be vetted by the close of today. And these aspirants will be coming from 11 assemblies, including the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. Aside the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, the other aspirants will come from various districts who are also aspiring to become chief executives. So far, it has been very smooth. It has been peaceful. A number of them are in there to go through the process. The process has been tough, we're being told, chaired by some members of parliament in the region alongside the regional chairman himself. And so generally, per observation, everything has been good on the run.
Tell us if you've been able to pick anything up regards to the kind of questions they have been asked and the areas of focus.
Well, the areas of focus, I must say, that has all centered on how these aspirants are going to contribute to the success of the John Dramani Mahama administration in their various municipalities or districts and assemblies. When we went in there, the focus of the vetting committee is to make sure that any other person who's coming for this or coming through this process has the requisite knowledge on how the NDC intends to run the affairs of the country. And also it's knowledgeable about the needs of the people in the various districts and assemblies. And so the focus generally is how they are going to be able to mobilize and come together and also offer the needs of the people in the district through the NDC administration.
Do we know the panel, the kinds of people who are actually sitting on this panel?
As at 1 p.m. when we had left or were leaving the place, we realized that it comprised of 3 members of parliament and other regional executives, including the chairman of the Ashanti Regional NDC, and also some formal MMDCEs who are also on the panel to scrutinize these over 300 aspirants who are coming to seek for the various portfolios.
Thank you so much. My colleague Nana Boakye-Yado is with us, joining us through. Now, the Chief Executive of Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana is asking ministers designate to Agric and Trade to establish an Agribusiness and Development Authority to make business operations in the sector less stressful. He's been reacting to the appointment of Eric Opoku and Elizabeth Ofosu-Ajeri as ministers designate for those sectors.
Data, a very robust data, both private sector and government and development partners can work with. 2, we in the private sector are saying that we ply our trade with several ministries. Okay, so Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Environment. Look, we plow our trade among about Ministry of Finance. Look, a lot. What we're saying is that, are we able to give the sector Agribusiness Development and Regulatory Authority? When we go in there, we are able to secure our license and permit for export. We are able to secure our Food and Drugs and Standards Authority certifications. We are able to secure our business operating permit, which we normally get from local government. Okay. We are able to secure all the needed things from one stop, because the time, the cost, and the long bureaucracy in securing some of this also takes dire consequences on some of the. In fact, we're talking about over 2 to 3 million youth in Ghana who are actually involved, SMEs, who are actually involved in agribusiness. The kind of money they require to go into agribusiness, sometimes it's about 10,000 Ghana cedis. But you happen to have to spend almost half of what you require to put into that. I mean, your fruit juice that you take. Sometimes the person who does that may just have invested about 5,000, 10,000 to procure the juice maker, the bottles, the labels, and get a certification. If you ask such a person, how much did it cost you to get that? From the business operating permit at the Ministry of Local Government, from the Food and Drugs, from the Standards Authority, and go to Registrar General, register your business. How much does it cost you? By the time you do that with the loan, your 5,000 that you intended to maybe increase the capacity of your business has gone into certification and licenses and other things. So we want an authority that is set up.
Now, let's take you to the Volta region. 2 persons have been arrested by the police in Kove in the Accra North District in connection with a suspected ritual murder. Jage William and his accomplice Agbenyo Yao were alleged to have shot dead one Agboji Kono and removed his vital organs. Fred Kwame Sari was at the crime scene and came through with the following report.
Agboji Kono went missing on Friday, 10th January 2025, after he had left to cut firewood for charcoal. A 3-day search by community members was unsuccessful. Unknown to family members, Agboji met his untimely death on that fateful day. According to his girlfriend, while having lunch, Jage William, who is his ex-husband, appeared with his accomplice, Agbenyo Yao, and shot Agboji in the face. She narrated that the culprits allowed her to leave the scene after agreeing to keep a tight lip on the incidents. She fled the community thereafter, but returned at the request of the police and narrated the ordeal, leading to the arrest of the suspects. The mystery is what could have led the suspect to shoot and kill Agboji in the presence of his ex-wife. The suspect was reported to have threatened to take the life of the deceased, who was his political opponent and dating his ex-wife. Others suspect ritual killing, as the victim's head, penis, testicles, heart and other organs were removed and hidden elsewhere.
But the same person, Achicho Jage uno miapa police station chairman threaten by your uga So after the election day, 7th December, the family of Agboji, Ahiabova, Agade, Afiovadako.
Yeah.
Because of the threat.
Okay.
So Anyamado Miabo, Michoba election, anyway, after the election, Miss Pelbanyuraka, Avajo. What the Tala, Amakukwanga, Belekana Queen, what the Paji, Woki, Woki, a de Paji, a de Pakla, a de Ava, Plepa Vukukatala Gomana, Ama.
The family is appealing to the police to speed up investigations and hand over the corpse for early burial. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Kove.
Now moving on, commuters on the Malam-La Paz stretch are asking authorities to fix loose asphalt on the expansion joints at the Malam interchange. The drivers say these seeming potholes have exposed metallic joints, forcing them to slam their brakes or navigate carefully to avoid damage to their vehicles. They say the situation not only threatens their safety, but also puts a strain on their wallet. Michael Ashali was at the scene and has filed the following report.
A driver slams his brakes just in time to avoid what looks like a pothole on the freshly asphalted Malam overpass. It's not a pothole, it's an exposed expansion joint. The constant flexing of the joint has eroded the asphalt, leaving the metallic surface bare and worn. Now, a hazard disguised as a pothole, it forces drivers to sacrifice speed to save their vehicles. For Kofi Same, driving a massive 6x2 tractor head with a 4-axle semi-trailer, it's more than just an inconvenience. It's bad news. I was heading from Tama to Takrade. We took our time to navigate all the potholes. But after descending the overpass, I realized my shaft was broken. The container owner keeps calling, but we have to fix it first. We have already spent over 1,200 cedis on the shaft, excluding workmanship.
1,500 and I work massive grammar.
Sami isn't alone. Drivers using that stretch of the highway are frustrated, as the situation often leaves them with costly repairs at the fitting shop. My spring could break and my tire could puncture. It's not good. Part of my vehicle losing after using the interchange, and even after fixing, it happens again. The exposed expansion joints is just one of the problems drivers have to deal with on this particular overpass. These metals that seem to have come loose are just one of those, and the fear for some of them is that by a risky choice, you may just puncture your tire and be left stranded on this bridge that has no other exits but to head towards the Makati Hill area. Some passengers are equally concerned. They are quick to arrest us for breaking the law. You can feel it in your waist. They need to fix it. It is even more scary when you are standing on this bridge and heavy vehicles like these pass by. You can literally feel the vibration. The potholes extend well beyond the interchange. My bearing is damaged. Each cost 200 cedis. And I had to replace all of them. The drivers want it all to be fixed. 17, 18, and 19. That's how many of these expansion joints that are now very much exposed, and drivers have to slump in every single one of them. For these drivers, it's an urgent call to government to come to their aid and fix these as soon as possible before the worst happens. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
Let's stay a bit more on the road because scores of traders at the Tano Boase toll booth in the Techima North district of the Bono region are appealing to the John Dramani Mahama administration to fast-track the reintroduction of the road toll system to help revive their economic activities. The traders whose jobs were heavily affected due to the closure of the polls say, the tolls actually say the road tolls, when opened, will help them survive the current economic downturn. My colleague Anas Sabit has more in the following report.
Toll booths across the country were closed under the erstwhile Nana Addo administration by the Roads Ministry to pave way for the reintroduction of the e-levy. In recent times, there have been several calls by traders across these various toll booths for authorities to reintroduce the toll system. These traders who have over the years been saying that the closure of the tolls is hindering or affecting their business or their economic activities. Well, there have been hints, even with the erstwhile administration, that the toll system will be reintroduced this afternoon. We are back here at the town of Boase toll booth where these traders here are calling on the new administration headed by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to swiftly reopen these road tolls to pave way for their economic activities to thrive.
Former President Nadu collapsed our businesses. Now plantain and cassava go dry because there are no buyers. This is our only job that take care of our families. So we are appealing to His Excellency John Mahama to open the road tolls so that our businesses will thrive again. Our major challenge is that we don't have buyers now due to the closure of the tolls, so we are appealing for it to be opened. We will be happy if they open the toll booths for us. We usually run at loss now because the vehicles don't stop anymore to buy from us. So we are appealing to the president to come to our aid. Since morning, I made a sale of only 20 Ghana cedis because there are no buyers. So we beg the president to come to our aid. Contrary to claims that the toll system compounds the economic woes of drivers, some of these drivers we came across say the amount charged is for the betterment of the roads and its maintenance. Osman Mohammed is one of them. No driver is affected by the small amounts we pay at the toll booths. Even at the stations, we pay 2 Ghana cedis for tickets, and so when we pay, these monies are used for our own benefits in the schools.
This route has been a major route. Vehicles, particularly those from neighboring French countries, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, usually used to convey, food items and other, stuff to their country. Unfortunately, the closure of the road tolls means these, foreign vehicles that fly this road pay nothing in terms of taxes to the state, even though they are using our roads. These traders believe that when these toll booths are opened, Ghana as a state will make money from this, francophone vehicles that plow our roads daily, and that can also be used for the maintenance of these roads when they go back.
Cars now move free outside. French cars now mobile.
The francophone vehicles do not pay road tolls when they get here, and I believe if they pay, the amount can be used for the maintenance of the roads. We pay a lot when we visit their countries, but they do the opposite when they are here. So we beg the government to work on that. Drivers from the neighboring countries do not pay anything for using our roads, and so it's a toll system that takes care of the maintenance of the road. So for me, government should, as a matter of urgency, reintroduce the toll system.
So these are calls by traders here at the town of Boise toll booth, urging the John Dramani Mahama administration to swiftly reopen the toll booth, hoping that the introduction of the tolls will trading activities here at the town of Boise toll booth.
You're still watching The Pulse here with me, Carlos Kelone. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more stories. Please stay. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us here on The Pulse. Now, let's shift our attention to some other stories. A police operation to clamp down on activities of illegal miners who have pitched camp in the Offin Shelter Belt Forest Reserve at Amiafoto, near in the Ashanti region, turned violent as 4 people sustained varying degrees of injuries. Now, joining us is Assistant Editor Ohemin Teria, embedded in the team, was among those injured by a mob of illegal miners. Here's a report.
Ohemin Teria sustained head and chest injuries, twisted fingers, and multiple cuts on his body after surviving a machete attack. The mob seized the team's camera, mobile phones, power bank, Bluetooth device, money and lenses, among other personal effects, and also damaged 2 minibuses used by the team. The police team from the regional police headquarters in Kumasi, which included the media and excavator mechanics and operators, stormed the mining site at about 9 a.m. on Friday, December 20, 2024. The team first dispossessed and arrested security personnel dressed in military camouflage to pave the way for what was expected to be a successful operation. As the police team entered the mining sites, the suspected illegal miners, made up of Chinese and local collaborators, had escaped, leaving their gold washers and generators on site. They had been tipped off to escape. At least 8 washing machines, busily engaged in washing activities, were spotted at the site of the company contracted to reclaim mined forest reserve. While the police team continued with the search for illegal miners, news came in that the illegal miners, with the support of the youth of Amiafutu, had erected a barricade at the only entrance of the site. The agitated miners and reinforced security, headed by Wan Al-Hassan and later Commander Edu, demanded the police free arrested illegal miners and released seized pump action guns and mobile phones as part of negotiations for the safe passage of the police team. They also demanded the camera and footage of the Joy News team and demanded the police succumb to negotiating the safety of the team. The agitated miners then started throwing stones at the minibus, smashing their glass windows. In no time, another reinforced security team dressed in military camouflage, led by a man identified as WO, arrived at the scene to support the illegal miners. The WO ordered no vehicles to leave the site. The unit committee of Amiafutu intervened to rescue the news team to a waiting police pickup. The miners, however, chased and attacked Ohemin Teria with pump action guns, machetes, and stones, whilst ransacking him for money and mobile phones as he fell on the ground. The police pickup managed to send the team and some injured excavator operators to Adobera Junction, where they continued to Kumasi to begin treatment. Ohemin arrived at the facility in Kumasi very weak, having bled profusely from head injuries he sustained on the way. The medical team rushed him to the theater in his blood-soaked clothes to first stabilize and operate on him. Several hectares of the once virgin Offin Shelter Belt Forest Reserve have been destroyed through illegal mining operations.
Very sad story there. Well, my colleague Ohemin Teria joins me on Zoom. Ohemin, tell us how you're feeling now.
Yes, Carlos, by the grace of God, I feel much better compared to the first day I was assaulted at the mining site. So now I can say that I feel much better.
I see. I hope you have seen the medics and they've really treated you to some large extent.
Yes, I did. That was the very first thing I did right after, leaving site and managed to escape the situation. So I've already sought that medical attention, and then with the support of management too, I would say that I feel much better. So all these things are being taken into consideration.
And I believe this has been reported to the police, right?
Sure. I have reported the incident to the police. Even before I went there, I was told police have already lodged investigations into the matter. So myself and the camera technician have given statements to police. The last time I went to the police station, a senior police officer, I remember, called the investigator and tasked him to look for all the people I have mentioned their names, and then that was the camera technician in our statement. So I do hope and trust police that this time they will follow up and then also pursue all the people who attacked us at the mining site.
Do we know if any arrests have been made so far?
It's been very difficult for me to say because I have been unwell and been home. So this particular answer will surely come from the police.
Okay, have you also... Go ahead.
Yes, I think that they have been the ones handling the matter.
And the other people who also suffered injuries, do you know how they are doing now?
For now, it's each one for himself. So I learned they were admitted at Confanochi Teaching Hospital and got treated. But as to whether they have been discharged, I don't have that information because I got this information from the last time I visited the police station. So, in fact, because I have also been without phone for quite a long time, I'm unable to communicate with other people, other sources, to get information as it used to be before the attack. So I really can't tell their current situation. But I would say, yes, they got admitted at Confanochi Teaching Hospital where they were treated.
All right. Thank you so much, Ohemi, for speaking to us. We wish you speedy recovery there, and also be keeping our eyes on this particular story to see what comes out of it in terms of getting justice for our colleague Ohemi Tewiel. Away from that story, President Mahama is calling for an enhanced Ghana-Mali cooperation on Sahel security, stressing the need for joint efforts to combat insurgency and terrorism. Speaking at a news conference after a closed-door meeting with Malian Prime Minister Abdoulaye Maiga, who was in Accra to deliver a special message from Malian President Assimi Goïta, Mr. Mahama stressed the importance of ensuring peace and promoting trade between the two nations.
We live in present day and we recognize the relationships that we have and how we must work closer together. We note what is happening in the geopolitics of our sub-region and the unfortunate situation that is unfolding in the Sahel. It is not anything that is new, but it continues to become more grave than it was in the past. And I'm talking about the issue of insurgency and terrorism. And as I told Mr. Prime Minister, in Ghana we have a proverb that if your neighbor's house is on fire, you must assist him to quench it. Otherwise, it will, when it finishes burning down his house, it will spread to yours. And so our security is a common objective, and we must work with each other to make sure that our sub-region is safe.
Now, residents of Nungua Adogono in the Greater Accra region are appealing to the police to intensify security in their neighborhood following a troubling surge in armed robberies. Many say they have lost count of the incident, but the constant threat of being attacked or losing their valuables has left them living in fear. My colleague Joy News, Collins Frimpong, visited the community and has filed the following report.
Residents of Nungwa Adogono, a community in the Krowo Municipal Assembly, are living in constant fear as a wave of robberies sweeps through their neighborhood. Many have traumatic stories of attacks. Some were ambushed by unidentified assailants on motorbikes, while others have had their valuables snatched in broad daylight. A local businessman, popularly known as Chief, and other residents recounted their experiences to Joy News, describing the persistent fear that now hangs over the community.
Robberies are becoming rampant in this community. I personally experienced one where the robbers, armed with guns and knives, took all my valuables, including money.
There was some time ago, you hear that these theft and all those things happen at night, but now during the daytime it even happens. Because recently a friend of mine went through, she was going to work, she had an afternoon shift, so she was going to work, she entered the taxi and she was seated at the front, and someone pointed a gun in the taxi on her head and told her to bring all the items that she has on her, so the money, the phone and everything, and she was forced to do that. And I've been hearing so many recent incidents like that happening in this area, which is very bad, and I'm kind of scared from.
Sometimes I stay at the down there. Because of that stealing, it always put panic in me.
Residents lamented the alarming frequency of these attacks, often occurring in isolated areas of the community. Many say they have lost count of the incidents.
I've seen it not once, not twice. That's recently, during the Xmas time. A lady, they were moving towards their house. Just at this very junction. A motor rider, they were passing. Two were on the motor. They were passing. Unawarely, they snatched her phone.
That one I can't tell, but a coso. What I say, I don't know a coso until
the community is urgently calling on the police to intensify security measures and help restore peace and safety to their lives.
I employ the police and other agencies, security agencies, to patrol at least once in a while, during the daytime and at night, just to make sure that there's extra security around here, and then the theft and all that reduces, because it's getting worse in this area, which is very bad for us.
I will urge the police service to increase their presence in this community, as the situation has become very challenging for us.
Collins Frimpong's report for Joy News.
Now, before we go, President John Dramani Mahama has arrived in Banjul, the Gambia. The president is on a two-country visit to the Gambia and Senegal to thank the heads of state of the two West African states for their participation in the presidential inauguration ceremony on the 7th January 2025. The visit is also in furtherance to President Mahama's commitment to strengthening good relations with Ghana's West African neighbors. The president is expected to return home today from Dakar, Senegal. And you can go to myjoyonline.com to get more stories from our website, and you can see our lead story there: declare asset before taking office, apprise yourself with code of conduct charged to public officers, and enough of the lies. Mahama doesn't own a customized V8, NDC, Eric J says. And just the story we brought to you a while ago, President Mahama visits the Gambia and Senegal. So you can go to myjoyonline.com to read more stories. And this is how we wrap up the show here on the Pulse on the Joy News channel here. And after this, LTS will be next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.